everyone. Dr. Evette Allen here, owner and operator of ELA Education Services, a company dedicated to professional personal development for young adults ages 18 through 30. So let's get started. You're too modest. You're too loud. You're too quiet. We don't know enough about you. You could never be like her. You don't look like that's something you would like to do. Side note, how do you look like that's something you would like to do? Anyway, these are all phrases we've all heard from time to time about ourselves. And whether we believe it or not, right? These phrases or these things impact how we see ourselves, how we show up in spaces, right? And how we show up in spaces or not as our authentic selves. So what I'm talking to you about today is just that, being authentic, being your authentic self. The concept is the courage to be you. When I started living by this, I started to feel a lot more free, complete, and authentic. Because just like you, I had to figure that out for myself. So the courage to be you is living as your true, authentic self. Because what I learned along my journey is people are going to talk about you, whether you're doing good or bad. So like that famous song, let's give them something to talk about. There's 4 concepts I'm going to talk to you about today related to the courage to be you. The first is know yourself. The second is fight others' vision of you. The third is check your circle. And the fourth is just do it. Do it afraid. By the end of this presentation, you will have honestly evaluated yourself in ways that will help you move forward and move and launch to your next level. Because I guarantee you, your next level is on the other side of that courage. So let's get started. First, knowing yourself. You cannot have the courage to be you if you do not really know yourself. You have to come into your authentic self. It's already in you. You just need to help it blossom. A few things you might be asking, well, how do I really get to know myself? What are some things you could do? Now, this is not all encompassing, but I do want to offer you a couple of things. Start with this. Ask yourself, what do you like? What do you like to do? What do you do well? What are those things that people often ask you to do that you just do effortlessly? That tells you a lot about yourself and what you like to do. The things you like to do you do them in public or do you feel like you have to hide them? Think about those things. What do you like? And what do you just do effortlessly? The second thing I want to offer you is notice your emotions. Take inventory of your emotions in various settings, right? When are you mad? When are you sad? When are you happy? These are all things that help you get to know about yourself, as well as connecting it to the context that you're in. Right? Are you mad because someone left you out? Are you sad because someone got an opportunity that you didn't? Taking inventory of your emotions also helps you learn in places where your triggers, places where you can step up or places where you're like, that's enough for me, I can step back. So understanding your emotions helps you understand yourself in ways that you understand what you can take and what you can move forward with doing. The last thing I want to offer you in terms of knowing yourself is taking time with yourself. We spend so much time with other people, trying to be like other people, chasing others and their dreams when we know little about ourselves. And so spending time with yourself, you genuinely learn what you like to do. What are those things that you like to do? Not something that somebody else told you, but what you genuinely like to do. When you don't spend time with yourself, you start to become that version of yourself that other people might want you to be. You're starting to listen to those things that other people are telling you versus really understanding who you want to be for yourself. Because if you let them, people will tell you all types of notions about yourself when you haven't even checked in with yourself first. So you have to know yourself first, because then that helps this next part become a lot more easy for you. The second thing I want to talk to you about in terms of the courage to be you is fighting others' visions of you. So again, people will try to tell you all types of reasons of why you should do this, do it this way or do it that way. I'll use myself as an example. I'm a very organized person, right? So some people might say that I'm strict, organized, or in some instances doing too much. But those are things that I know about myself, and I know what I do do well. And probably like you, when I started to hear things like that, you start to question yourself. Well, am I doing too much? Should I pull back in that area? But the truth is, most times you're probably just being yourself. And let me tell you how you know you're being yourself, because in those same instances where someone might tell you you're doing too much, they call on you to do that very thing for them that they say you're doing too much in that area. So just be yourself, right? When you fight others' vision of you, you also, or sorry, when you don't fight others' vision of you, you miss out in three distinct ways. The first way is you never really get to show people who you are. And so you miss opportunities to be your genuine self. Imagine being in spaces and people just calling upon you simply because they got to see who you are and they like who you are. Because wouldn't you rather influence a couple of people based on being your true self than to influence thousands being your fake self? Yeah, me too. The second way you might miss opportunities when you don't fight others' vision of you is you miss opportunities to genuinely impact others. I think about young adults who might look up to people for various reasons, right? People in their community or people who are around them, right? When you are not your genuine self, you might put out the false impression that folks have to be a certain way to be successful. And although they shouldn't always just look to be exactly like you, a piece of you might give them that encouragement they need to understand that they can be themselves and that they can be successful without having to go about it just the way that everybody else does. And that last way, when you think about not fighting others' vision of you, when you don't fight others' vision of you, you allow people rather than yourself to define your destiny. When you don't fight others' vision of you, right? Think about something that someone said to you, a way that they think you should do it. When you start to go those ways, you really miss out on the opportunity to define yourself. We all have a purpose in this world. We have to walk in that, our purpose and our destiny. When you listen to others rather than understanding yourself, you're giving them control over your purpose and your destiny. So you want to fight others' vision of you, especially when it's not in alignment with the way in which your purpose and your destiny is headed. The third thing I want to talk to you about in terms of the courage to be you is checking your circle. There will be people in your journey, on your journey, throughout your journey, checking your circle. There will be people throughout your journey, and time is not a qualification for your circle. There will be people in your circle who have been with you for a short amount of time. And then there will be people in your circle who've been with you for years, right? So time is not a qualification. But you do want to make sure you have the right people in your circle. So try these things, right? First, take inventory of who's around you and how they are supporting you, right? Do you feel like they're there when you need them? Or do you feel like you might be alone in some of the big things and big decisions you have to make? The second thing I want to offer is, this is the part where you have to be accountable to yourself when you're checking your circle. You have to be transparent with your circle about how you want them to support you. Because we've all probably said this, right? You should just know. But the truth is, people don't always know, because support for one person might be in your face, while support from another person might mean that they're stepping back until you tell them what you need. So you have to be transparent with your circle about how you want them or need them to support you. And from there, it's up to them to do it, because they're going to step up or step back in one of two ways. They're either going to say, okay, I hear you, let's do this, I'm going to try my best. Or they're going to say, I hear you, I may not be able to step up, and they might fall back. But either way, you're figuring out who is in your circle. Because figuring out who's in your circle is not just about letting people go because they're not doing what you want them to do. It's about you first, holding yourself accountable, letting people know what you need, and then letting them do their part to step up once you've told them what you need. The last thing I want to offer you in terms of checking your circle is asking yourself this: does your circle let you make mistakes? Anybody who knows me knows that my circle is full of people who allow me to be human, who don't make me feel like I have to be perfect to do everything. I don't, right? The moment someone says anything to me about having to be perfect, right? I use that strategy of I first let you know how I need to be supported. But after that, right, you're probably not in my circle if you're constantly making me feel like I have to be perfect, right? We're all human. And part of the courage to be you is the courage to give yourself grace. You won't always be perfect. And I'm not talking about people who let you make mistake after mistake after mistake. I'm talking about those instances in which you are doing your very best, but sometimes you just fall short because, again, we're all human. We are not perfect. And that last thing I want to talk to you about in terms of the courage to be you is just doing it and doing it scared. This is a phrase that I've had to learn to live by myself. I used to think that I needed to have it all together to start a business, to do a program, to do an event. But the truth is, right, I already had what I needed inside of me, and I just had to do it scared, right? And if I had not done things like that, I wouldn't be in front of you for opportunities such as this. So I stand before you, honestly, as an imperfect person with flaws, but with some specific things that I do well. I think about what Lisa Nichols discusses in terms of living in duality. You can mess up in one area, but be great in another. So it's this concept of while you might not be great at everything, give yourself grace and move forward with those things that you do well and just continue doing it and doing it and do it afraid. Because the more you do it, I promise you, the more it will become more easy for you and you will be launching into new levels of courage that you didn't even know you could move to. Because courage is not about the absence of fear, but it's doing something despite fear. So I want to end with a quote by Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. So folks, find your courage and be open to learning and growing. Once you learn and grow at this level, you go to your next level and then the next level of courage. You get it. So folks, get you some courage and become your most powerful self yet. Thank you. For those of you who would like to learn more about our services, you can head over to www.elaeducationservices.com and check out our opportunities for a free one-on-one coaching session. Thank you.